this meeting to order. If everyone could please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. If we could please have a seat. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections for the agenda? Okay, seeing none. We don't have anything under unfinished business. This will take us over to new business. Number one, Mr. Haas.
All right, so I know Lisa had reached out to everybody ahead of time. We have a proposal here, because I, from day one, have been the township designee on the settlement funds and so forth. They come through One Ohio. We've had these accumulated starting almost a year and a half ago, and I know we've brought up before doing something with these, and based upon the last time, or the last amount that come in, you know, I know there's certain things that you can accrue, you should accrue. These are not funds that we should be sitting on. I know we've floated before, you know, maybe something with Narcan, but because of getting that stuff through the hospital, we did nothing. So AVO Behavioral Health and Recovery is located off of Whipple on 38th, and they've done a number of initiatives throughout the county. And I had asked Ashley Collins and her staff to come in so we could brainstorm some stuff. Actually, it was Lisa, Joyce, and I had Joyce sitting in just from the sake of fiscal, you know, how things may be billed and handled. Ultimately, you know, caveat was check with the law director depending upon what comes through on the proposal. But ultimately, what they're proposing here is, you'll see in writing, I'm assuming everybody has already read it themselves. It's a combination of, you know, Narcan, drug drop-off, which, to remind you, we previously got rid of the drug drop-off site here because of, you know, just the volume of stuff that was coming in, the frequency, and the challenges with being able to keep that up. As part of the drug drop-off, though, tying into one of the sub-points, they have what I think, and I think Lisa will attest, this really cool doTERRA bag, which doTERRA bags I'd never heard of prior to, but if you do some searching, you can take all your prescription stuff at home, put it in this bag with water, a water type solution, and it breaks it all down. The easiest way I can relate it to is like, you know, when we all have extra paint left over, and it's like, what am I gonna do with this? You get the stuff that solidifies it. Well, this helps break it down. And they're, you know, I think outside of just pushing to see whether it's Narcan distribution or training, you know, Narcan simply treats a symptom. It doesn't help get to the root. So, you know, some of the education is intended to help address this. We know this is fully compliant with the broader One Ohio settlement because AVO does some stuff at the state level, and then even at the county level with the courts and so forth. So what was proposed was, you know, at a frequency of on some type of monthly basis, whether it's here in Township Hall or at some site within the township, we feel it makes it easier by them coming to us. There's potential for less stigmatism of, you know, if you're going into a treatment, like, okay, who's around, what's looking. So they put together this proposal is a separate part of this that's not included. They are looking at September 19th, right, Ron? I believe is the recovery walk that we have, and that would be coordinated out here, but then again, they would coordinate some of this work with that, and then they're looking at pulling in some additional grant dollars to expand that. I think the thing with this, they are proposing working with the other parties, whether it's the sheriff's office, who, you know, they've noted prior experience working with and having good experience too as well, you know, working with fire, and then they actually have a mobile clinic that they would bring in. So this isn't just strictly about, hey, here's AVO, we're going to do this. You'll see called out here, working collaboratively with some other partners, and instead of, you know, like it says in here, instead of a one and done, which you may or may not get, you know, we need that repetitiveness. I mean, it's, you know, the illness is not something that, okay, I had my conversation, or I got this, you know, treatment. They want to continue to hold folks, you know, provide the services and so forth. So I think right now within fiscal, there's a total accrued of a little over $11,000 dollars. So the fact that they would work with us on, you know, formulating, you know, the schedule, the messaging and so forth, so that wouldn't be, you know, our employees' time. And honestly, it's once some of that material's set, you know, it's a one and done. But you know, some of the advertising would be our website, our social media, you know, to, you know, the walk, the prevention walk, or yeah, the recovery walk out back at the amphitheater. That's something out on the sign. I wanted some type of proposal to be able to bring, because sitting on these dollars is doing nobody with drug addiction recovery, as long as the township continues to sit on them.
And I did like that they made it, it's at the township hall, or they said by wherever you're comfortable, but it's for, you know, people may come outside the township, but it's directed Plain Township dollars in Plain Township.
And it did note, like, we would be the first, one of the first in the county to actually be taking initiative on getting something like this moving. So, selfishly, I like that, because we do tend to lead the way on a number of things, and this is, you know.
So there's no resolution, it's discussion at this point to see, you know, do you like it? What are your thoughts? I don't know if you've had enough time to, you know, I just sent it out, if you've had enough time to look at it, if you need time to just put
And to
some
that point,
questions
again,
together.
for
Or
the sake of discussion, we got it the tail end of, it was late, I think I got it late Friday, and
Yeah.
I forwarded it
Yep.
Monday, or
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the numbers and, you know, if we would do, and again, I'm not really sure what they would offer on a per month basis.
Right.
Whether we would repeat or whether we would
That's a
do
good question,
something.
because I don't know, is this every time?
Yeah.
Is this one time? So those are, I
'Cause-
should have
yeah,
asked for
Cause
clarification.
that does, I mean, you know, if it's, cause that's $783 for marketing and all of that, and then the 171, so if you did 12 events, that's about 11,000, a little over 11,000 that I earlier calculated,
Yeah,
so,
it sounds like it's per event.
yeah. So, that would be one
Can
question.
you clarify that?
I would
or if
have.
This is one time or per event?
And then, if we were to, I mean, first of all, I think it's a good idea. I think that, all the dollars are supposed to be spent on education, prevention, treatment, or recovery. And I think when you look at this, there's at least all four of those embedded in there somewhere. So I think it's justifiable. Eric, I do have a question, because you sat on the original group that from the region as to how those dollars were gonna be spent. Has there, and I know Keith Hokadell kind of gave a little update on that at our township county meeting. Has there been any expenditures from the county yet on?
I don't know if they've spent any money yet. I know they've got some people that are in the works for proposals, but I don't know if they've
Okay.
actually spent any money yet.
Not yet,
Okay,
because we just got everything turned in and we have to review everything.
yeah, and then if I understand that, you guys then have to submit to the state to get approval for those expenditures,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, and the deadline was May 4th, so it's ready.
Yeah.
So we actually meet next week and we're gonna go over who were some of the applicants.
So I'm sure you're kind of looking at something similar to this, I'm guessing, or, you know, maybe even more towards the recovery / treatment component. But this, I mean, this certainly for me, it meets education, it meets prevention, it meets a whole bunch of things. I just am curious about the dollars. I like the idea of the program.
So your questions, are the marketing material costs noted per month?
Yeah,
What else?
Oh, they are per month?
Oh,
No,
he's
I'm
asking.
That's what.
I'm asking
he's-
are
Oh,
there
does
other
this
questions?
include the drug drop-off costs and the
Yeah.
doTERRA? And, well, the supplies might be the doTERRA, is that the doTERRA bags too to go, and the Narcan?
Yeah.
So, yeah, does it include having the drug drop-off that day, the Narcan giveaway?
That would be my only
The
question.
doTERRA
So
bags.
if we would have them come in and we said, here's what we want you to do for this day.
Yeah,
Are there extra costs over and above that based on, like, the drug drop-off, for
Right.
example? Because, I mean, obviously, we did that once before.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's some concern about, well, is this gonna be Plain Township residents? But in
it's in
reality.
Plain Township, yeah.
But,
We're never gonna control that.
Mm,
but in reality, when we had the drug drop-off.
Oh,
we-
yeah.
We didn't say,
Who-
are you
who
from
knows?
Plain
Yeah.
Township? So it was convenient.
Yeah, and when the sheriff does it like twice a year, I
Yeah.
think, people come
So
from all
I'm
around.
okay with that. That just all makes sense, because the last thing you want is to have this stuff floating around out there somewhere.
Would it be helpful to invite her to do a work session where you guys could ask questions?
I think it would be, but again, if we could get some of the, I mean, I don't need another meeting.
Okay,
That's up to you guys.
just a
but
clarification, so a resolution
yeah.
could be put together.
Just
or
give us some
agreement.
examples of, if that cost was a per month, what could we do on this month? And then what could you offer different the next month? And then could you come back the following month and repeat that every other, or something like
Right,
that?
yeah, like can you do a drug drop-off every time?
Yes.
Will you be giving Narcan out every
Yes,
time?
yes.
Will you be doing
That's what
doTERRA
we-
bags?
That's what we taught.
Yeah, that's what they talked
That's what
about.
they
That's-
said at
that's
the
what they
meeting.
said.
So if that's the case, man, we advertise that?
I mean, the newsletter,
Yeah.
social media, I'm sure we could get a nice, hopefully an article out of it. I mean, it is really hitting, it's hitting all four.
That-
And
that's-
the nice thing too is they have a CPA who will also track every penny spent. So
Because they
in
already
an
do it
audit
with
or
the state
anything,
programs.
they will have the
Oh,
whole
absolutely, because
breakdown
we
of
have
that
to
money.
prove that as well,
Correct.
and we'll have to do this by resolution.
Yeah.
Actually, in
Because-
talking with Joyce, I think that.
They
the-
might be
the audit-
responsible as a separate
The audit
recipient.
falls on them, so if we said it was a 12 months of everything included in
Yeah.
there that equals $11,000, they can invoice us
Yeah.
the $11,000 and then
Yeah,
they're the
they're
ones
as the
that,
subrecipient have
their-
to break it down.
they have to handle that for the audit.
Is there any further discussion in regards to this?
No, you'll get those answers and then I'll just see what to bring back to the board.
Okay,
Perfect.
all right, we'll move to new business number 2. Ms. Campbell?
Thank you. Item number 2 is a resolution to accept the quote from Always Better Communications for an upgraded server and phone system.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion?
I just
This
thank
is
Chief
15
for,
years old.
yeah, it's 15
Oh, yeah.
years old, the server's 15 years old. Chief did all the legwork on that, and I appreciate it. He really put in all the work on this. Talked to also Computech, who actually recommended this system. It's a cost savings right now versus going cloud-based. We're gonna save about $500 a month too on the AT&T bill, so it's gonna be, it's gonna pay
That
for
creates,
itself.
that's a 3-year payback just on
Yeah.
that.
and this is the vendor we used before.
That's who we had
Yes.
before, and they are spot on. When we have an issue, a problem there, Eric, he's a
Yep.
township resident,
Excellent.
township resident, he takes pride in it. So Chief, thank you for doing
Yeah,
that.
thanks, Chuck.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless.
Yes.
And that's the end of new business.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. Now take us over to the sheriff's report.
Hello.
Good evening.
Busy day today?
It's been a day today.
Sam typically said you look like you had a little more gray hair, but yours is about as short as mine, so.
I shave it so you can't tell. You can't tell I'm gray or balding. So we have our monthly report for May, our calls for service. We had 1,019 calls for service, down 4.5% from last year. Let's see, crashes were 79, that was up 30%. Injuries were 16, which was up significantly from last year. 71 alarms, which was also up 15%. 275 traffic stops, which was about a 10% increase from last year at this time. 149 citations written, which is a 20% increase. 49 arrests, which was down a little bit from last year, like 19%. And then we did 208 vacation/period checks of residents and businesses. Our detective report, he was assigned 2 cases for May, and they closed 4 cases. One was an aggravated robbery, one was a death investigation, shooting, and a suicide that we closed out. I was gonna look those up, but I don't have any details on them right now, so. We're busy today, I didn't get a chance to look those up.
No problem.
So when you look back over the last 5 years, you can see we're kind of trending the same as the last 5 years. Down, up, down, so no, not a significant drop or a significant increase. And then our May chart from 2023 to 2024, everything was pretty much up, except for the arrests and the calls. The crashes with injuries were up quite a bit. Any questions about the report?
Seeing none,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much, I appreciate it. All right, that'll take us over to the fiscal office report. Mr. Wolf?
Thank you. Fiscal Officer number 1 is a resolution to authorize payment of pending warrants in the amount of $364,933.73.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabah?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 2 is a resolution to authorize payment of regular payroll in an amount not to exceed $250,000.
So moved.
Second, discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabah?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 3 is a resolution to authorize payment for the following medical claims.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabah?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 4 is the May financial report.
Okay, any questions? See Mr. Wolf after?
Fiscal Officer number 5 is the investment report.
Okay, same thing, any questions? See Mr. Wolf after?
Fiscal Officer number 6 is a resolution to authorize a refund as follows for overpayments of EMS as requested by Ohio Billing.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabah?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 7 is a resolution to establish a capital project fund as follows and to transfer $8,500 from gasoline tax fund 2021 into capital projects fund 4915 as follows.
So moved.
Second, discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabah?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 8 is a resolution to request an additional amended certificate of estimated resources from the Stark County Auditor and to appropriate as follows.
So moved.
Second, discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabah?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 9 is a resolution to authorize the payment to First Commonwealth Bank for bank fees.
So moved.
Second, discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabah?
Yes.
That concludes the Fiscal Officer report.
Thank you, Mr. Wolf. That takes us back over to the administrator, Ms. Campbell.
Thank you. Item number 1 is a resolution to approve the new EV charging station rate.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
That thing gets used a lot, doesn't it?
It does, and I do have to say I might be bringing something further to you because what I'm finding and noticing lately is some cars staying plugged in, and I know a lot of places after so long will charge a fee, so I'm gonna look into that. We might have another resolution because I had a car out here all day. They were charged,
Yeah.
so.
But limiting people's
Yeah.
usage.
See, I was here Saturday and there was actually 2 cars that were parked in that spot
Mhm.
that were not getting charged.
Mm,
So they were taking up
Yeah.
one of those spots
yeah,
because of the 720 market.
you know what we'll do in the future is we'll barricade it. We used to in the past, I just didn't think of it, it
Yeah.
just started again, we'll barricade those on Fridays. Well, no, my people have to use them.
But, I
And
mean,
tell them
it
if
doesn't,
you're not, if you're not an
Yeah.
active EV
Yeah.
truck,
Yeah,
put a
don't
sign.
park here.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
we
be
could do a
you can be
sign.
ticketed or fined
Yeah.
or.
Yeah, so I might come back with something else about some sort of fee for just
Okay.
sitting there plugged in, even though you're fully charged.
All right, look forward to that. All right, number 2?
Oh, number 2 is a resolution to purchase Shield
Don't
15.
we have
Oh, wait, oh, yeah, roll call.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Yeah.
Mr. Sabah?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Now,
Now number 2.
yeah.
Now, item number, the long awaited for number 2 is a resolution to purchase a Shield radar speed display from All Traffic Solutions.
So moved.
Second, discussion?
I think this is a good measure based upon the sheriff's recommendation, especially given the site
Yeah,
and so forth, so
Yeah.
this is,
I think it's a good place to start.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I like the process is if the sheriff says, we're spending a lot of time here and we think this will help us, and then we can move the other ones around, that's when it's considered.
Yeah.
it's not just an impulsive
No.
public pressure.
So
Yeah.
thank you for that and
Yeah.
for getting the quote. Appreciate it.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And item number 3 is a resolution for the attached merchant processing agreement with Payrock.
So moved.
Second? Discussion?
This will allow us to take online payments right now for our zoning office, but here in the future for also road and fire.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And that's the end of the administrator report.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. That'll take us over to Chief with the fire department.
Thank you. Item number 1 is our monthly report. I do want to note our star raccoon
Yeah.
that was saved by Parks, Admin, and Fire. So,
It's a very
so
cute
doing
raccoon.
well and getting
Multi-agent.
bigger.
Multi-agency rescue.
Right,
Yeah.
multi-agency.
It's adorable.
Raccoon probably tops the other pictures probably.
It
Yeah.
does, it does.
All right, thank you for the monthly report.
Okay, item number 2 is a resolution to certify our levy amount for renewal.
Okay. Discussion?
Well,
Oh, yeah, we
so
gotta move to,
moved.
geez,
And
I
I'll
am losing
second.
it tonight.
I'll second.
We're sure we've got everything locked
That's
down,
done.
everybody's won't come before us, all right.
To the best of my ability, I've read this like 8
I
times.
think we have it
I know,
memorized.
between language changes
Yeah.
and all that stuff, I get it.
It's been a little frustrating, the whole process here, so I think we have it right.
All right, thank you very much, I appreciate that. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And item number 3 is a proposal, resolution for a renewal and an increase certificate from the county.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Item number 4 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees to change the status of John Jufrey, part-time firefighter EMT, to part-time firefighter paramedic.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Okay, so item number 5 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees to increase the pay for part-time EMTB Brooke Tallman, according to resolution 24-134.
So moved.
Second.
That was Mr. Sabo. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
And item number 6 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees to enter an agreement with Meadowworks Crossroads DBA Crossroads Ambulance to remount one Lifeline chassis according to Sourcewell contract and attachments.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
That concludes fire department, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. That'll take us over to the road department. Drew?
Thank you. Item number 1 is the monthly report for your review.
We'll say that the roads that are getting done are looking nice.
We're about 40% complete.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
Did you tell them the really good news?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
It's building up.
Sit in the state.
You guys are keeping busy. That's
Just
just
some good news in the future.
Okay. If you have any questions on the monthly report, see Drew after. That'll take us to number 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. Item number 2 is a resolution that lists bids received for the 2024 pavement marking and striping project.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Just let me know when we're doing the pre-bid because of prevailing
Yeah,
wage.
this is the first time that I know in history that we put it out for bid.
And we got a much
Receive
lower
some-
price than,
Yeah,
Not
well, and
put
I
it out.
applaud you for that, because that should be standard
Yeah.
operating.
right.
Item number 3,
Well,
Yeah.
we need to vote on that. Roll call?
Mr.
You make it up
Sabo?
first.
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
item number 3 is a resolution to award Plain Township pavement marking and striping project to American Roadway Logistics.
So moved.
Second, discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 4 is a resolution to sign contract, Plain Township pavement marking and striping project, American Roadway Logistics.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Item number 5 is a resolution to amend resolution number 24-302 to pay good faith offers to the residents from fund number 2031-330-360-000.
So moved?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Item number 6 is a resolution to approve the plans for Orange Street Northwest Improvements Phase 1 project.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
This is a
Roll.
long
Yeah.
time
Yes.
coming.
Happy to see it done.
And thank you for salvaging it.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Roll call?
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
That concludes road department.
Did we do
We're
number
gonna do
7?
number 7.
We need to do number 7.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have it in my packet. I'm sorry, item number 7 is to advertise bids for Orange Street Northwest Improvement Projects Phase 1.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Now we're good.
All right, thank you, Drew. That'll take us over to the zoning department. Tom?
Thank you, ma'am. Item number 1 is the monthly report.
Any questions? See Tom after?
Item number 2 is a resolution to declare items A through C as nuisance abatements.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And item number 3 is a resolution to declare items A through D as nuisance abatement pays.
So moved.
Second, discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And item number 4 is a resolution to authorize a refund in the amount of $579 to One Easton Company due to overpayment for a zoning permit.
So moved.
Second, discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
That concludes zoning.
Okay, thank you, Tom. That'll take us over to Rob with the Parks Department.
Thanks, item number 1 is the monthly report.
This is just from the Parks report. It's nice seeing those gardens over here. I've been over there a couple times and
It's really coming along.
yeah.
Yeah, she's done a nice job organizing it, and people are starting to buy into it, and it's been fun to see the transition.
I agree, your team's doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
How's Connor working out?
Doing awesome.
Good, good,
Good kid.
good. All right, any questions? See Rob afterwards.
Thanks. Item number 2 is a resolution to move payment to Aris Company for spring porta john cleanouts at Diamond.
So moved.
Second, discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thanks. Item number 3 is a resolution to authorize, I'm gonna start over. A resolution to approve payment to Kavanaugh Productions LLC for the amphitheater entertainment.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Item number 4 is a resolution to approve payment to various artists for amphitheater entertainment.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Concludes parks.
All right, thank you, Rob. That'll take us over to communications. Mrs. Campbell.
Well, thank you. Item number 1 is to the Bureau, and it reads, Dear Amy, my kindergarten class came to the Plain Central Station on May 17th for a field trip. I wanted to thank all of the firefighters who helped our kindergarten students. All of the firefighters were so wonderful, as was your administrator with the children. That wasn't in there. My class had the best time. The firefighters are true heroes for them. At the end of the year, when they wrote in their memory books, every student mentioned the visit to the fire station as one of their favorite days of kindergarten. Please extend my thanks to all the students or all of those who helped that day. Thank you for your time and efforts making it such a kind learning environment where we can learn more about fire safety and the work of firefighters. Have a wonderful summer. That's Kim Ricchetti from St. Michael's School.
It's always a nice way to write it, because that's a pretty intensive
Yeah,
schedule
and
that
just
you're
to
going.
add on to that, I just did some quick math. We had 1,400-ish students between at the fire station, going to third grade at the schools or at the high school, and then Safety City, we have 80-some kids. So May and June for our staff is really busy. I appreciate all their help. There's no way 2 or 3 of us can do that. We need like 4 or 5 people every day to make that happen. I always see them on Wednesday when you come over to the station. It's packed. I mean, there's people everywhere. So, anyway, but I do appreciate this letting us do these programs too, because obviously, it does take time and energy from all of us.
And we appreciate it. My son had a blast. He came home with a big smile, and he still wears his badge, and he puts it on his little backpack. It's so cute, even for summer camp. Okay, we've reached the public speaking segment of the meeting, and we welcome any audience member who wishes to address the board. You may refer to our public speaks format that is located on the back desk. You can approach the podium or stay seated, whichever you prefer. Please provide your name and address to the fiscal officer for inclusion in the minutes. Please note that in accordance with Plain Township's regulations, each speaker is allotted 3 minutes to ensure all viewpoints are heard effectively, fostering fairness and accommodating diverse perspectives within the allotted time frame. Keep in mind that this is not a question and answer format or an opportunity to speak. The board respects the rights of citizens to present differing opinions, views, and criticisms. Both the board and citizens are expected to respect the comments of others while maintaining the highest levels of decorum. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak at this time? All right, seeing none, that'll take us.
As long as it takes to read that.
I know.
You'll stand up and make a comment or something.
It is a mouthful.
My fault.
Okay, we don't have any concerns of trustees? Any concerns of the fiscal officer?
No concerns.
Okay, that'll take us over to the approval of the minutes for May 28th. I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All right, discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes. That'll take us to the approval of the special minutes. On May 31st, I'll make the motion.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes. We have no need for executive session. I make the motion, we adjourn the meeting at 6:33.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms.